Hi and hello and good morning. Welcome to Going Over. I, of course, am Fred Slow. Alongside me, Sally Taylor. We're talking the world of professional wrestling from the viewpoint of a couple cats from Albuquerque, New Mexico. Sally, how are you, friend?
I'm moving. I'm grooving. I'm grateful, and it's a good day. It's a really really good day. I'm grateful. How you doing? How you feeling, Freddie
Oh,
Fay?
I never complain. I'm so very fortunate in my life in every single aspect. Excited to be bringing you to the program. We got a big week of pro wrestling at the time of the airing of this episode of Going Over here at Wrestling in Albuquerque. That's Saturday morning, the 21st, or excuse me, the 20th. I will be, the 20th is a day for me. So Saturday, the 20th, April the 20th, I got to go over to the pit UNM. We're doing a big CPR class. UNM is the University of New Mexico here in Albuquerque. So we're hosting a big CPR event. We're gonna, I think there's like 300 people registered for it. It's something crazy. So we're gonna head that thing up. Then that afternoon, rush over to Isotopes Park. The Savannah Bananas are in town, so we're gonna do a little bit with them, which is gonna be
Wow,
a lot of fun. That'll be a good one. And then I'm going over to the Sheraton to host Denim and Diamonds. It's the Rio Grande Down Syndrome's gala, and that's going to be a lot of fun. As we're going to hope to raise a lot of money for an organization that helps a lot of kids. So it's going to be a fun, not just kids, everyone. They help everyone. But it's going to be a super busy Saturday. Sunday only gets more busy for your boys. You know that for a fact. Sunday morning, back with the Bananas over at Isotopes Park, working the Savannah Bananas and the Party Animals. And then that afternoon, Saleh, is that GCW show's coming to town. So they're going to be over at the Dirty Bourbon, and that's going to be a lot of fun. So if you want to catch that style of pro wrestling, it is here in town. So you have a chance on Sunday to see pro wrestling at the Dirty Bourbon. Then head over to the historic El Rey Theater on Thursday, or excuse me, on Wednesday night, where you can watch our April Spring Slam event. And that's going to be a huge event. Lots of tickets are out for that one already before we head into the 1 year Annie show of Duke City Championship Wrestling.
it's going to be a beautiful time for pro wrestling for
Mm-hmm.
even for your boy, man. I'm really excited for you. You have a long week ahead of you, and it's going to be really really cool. Really fun. So this sounds real like you got a full dance card ahead of you.
Yeah, it's going to be really good. I reached out to the GCW guys to have someone on to talk about their program. No response yet, so we'll see how that goes. But you know, how media releases are, dude. They're hard. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm not that guy to be that guy, but like, put your cell phone on a media release. Like, if you want, like, it's not the day. It's not what it used to be. You know what I mean? It's not like an assistant to an editor at a newspaper or a TV station calling you. It's like the talent, or it's like the producer. It's a whole thing to where, like, we're trying to move quick here. We're trying to get this thing done, and it just has not necessarily happened with them. But if we get a chance, Sunday will be a lot of fun to talk about with GCW, and if not, I know they're going to have a banger of a program because they do it all over the nation and they know how to do it. We're inside pro wrestling a little bit, and the world of pro wrestling is real interesting promotion wise, like on how it's structured, how people are compensated, how the value of what you consider a ticket to be at as far as production effort. And I think it's so very neat for an audience, specifically one here in Albuquerque, that hasn't had a lot of traveling promotion come through town over the last several years, to be able to get a different perspective from what Duke City Championship Wrestling has done, or Phase One, was just popped up, and now GCW coming through town. Saleh, do you go into these shows? Because I know you and I have been to independent shows all over the country. Do you go into these shows with an expectation of the product you're going to receive? Or are you just excited to see how differently people do it?
I am just excited to see how it's done from someone else. I love gaining perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Um, One of the cool things about GCW, they've had established folk coming through with them and just meet them wherever they're at. So I'm excited to see GCW. I actually, a friend of the show and a real life family, Jacob Fatu, went to GCW show in LA, which was happened to be a few blocks away from where I was living at the time,
Yeah.
and I gave him a call. Like, hey, bro, you're gonna be down the street from me. He goes, oh, bro, come on.
Yeah, of
And
course.
I wasn't expecting much because I just want to see my little brother, man. And it was him and another like Toko. His name is Juicy Finau, and they went head to head, toe to toe with the Briscoes, and
Pretty good.
very amazing match. And like everyone that was in there, there was guys who were traveling, guys who were just trying coming up, and they even established guys. Matt Cardona was there with Chelsea Green, and that was a great show through and through. Um, it's one of those cool things where the difference between seeing like a WWE live event and a WWE taping. There's a lot more freedom in some of these smaller shows and some of these shows
Yeah.
where it's considered dark. So I'm excited. Um, I know that GCW is going to come in and bring some fire, man. They have a lot of local guys on the card too, man. So we're really, really, really excited to see that.
GCW, known as Game Changer Wrestling, formerly known as Jersey Championship Wrestling. It's a product that I haven't, for my personal fandom, I haven't fallen in love with it. I'm not in love with hardcore style wrestling.
Mhm.
I'm not. I think they even have a title called the Ultra Violent title. That might not be correct, but I think that's true. And it is, it's a different energy. I think it hits with a certain type of audience, so I see the value in it. I think it hits for that audience that thinks, hey, I live a hard life. I live a life that eventually becomes triumph. I'm that thing, and they can relate to the story. We use like Jacob Fatu as an example. Tonga just debuted on WWE the other day, and Jacob Fatu just signed with WWE. And Jacob Fatu's story is a lot more depressing than Tonga's story. If we're like being really honest about this thing, but Jacob Fatu, similar to Tonga's, is a story of triumph, and to overcome a lot of the obstacles and a lot of the decisions were made when younger, because we were all kids at one point. For him to have been a part of GCW, I think that's a very believable like performer for that organization, specifically against the Briscoes at that time. With that said, I didn't grow up in that life. The life of pro wrestling fandom that I grew up in was that Saturday morning, kid friendly. We don't say swear words, and all of our jokes are pretty clever as opposed to lazy insults. I don't know what other word to use. So two different products, same genre of entertainment. I'll pop over. I'll go check it out. You know me, I'm in to support those that are trying to provide entertainment for those locally. So it should be a good show. Should be a lot of fun. And then hopefully, it sets the palette for Wednesday, Duke City Championship Wrestling Spring Slam over at the historic El Rey Theater. So there you go. You got a lot of fun wrestling this weekend. Also, our friend Sizzle's in the live chat. Sizzle has, for some reason, taken a bunch of New Mexico pro wrestlers up to Pueblo to wrestle June 1st for Steel City Championship Wrestling. This is interesting to me because I know none of these guys want to go. I know for a fact that and I get it. New Mexico wrestler, go to Texas is great. Go to Texas, wrestle over there, find support. Go to Phoenix, go to Arizona, wrestle over there, find support. Go to Colorado and just deal with weird stuff. Deal with Birkenstocks. Deal with granola bars. Deal with open-toed sandals. Deal with pop marijuana. That's the world up there. It's lame. It's a lame state for lame people. And it's weird to me that a lot of our Duke City Championship Wrestling talent is willing to go slum up there, but I get it. Go take Colorado's money, come back. That's how I see it.
This is a great opportunity. It's one of those beautiful things as a professional wrestler is you got to get time on the road, and I'm grateful that Sizzle is giving our boys some mileage under their tires, man. So I'm grateful for the opportunity that a lot of our guys are going up there and building this relationship between us, man.
You think that's what it is? You think it's relationship building? You don't think it's that no one else in the industry was willing to work for Sizzle? You think it was that?
I'd say it's relationship building, and probably couldn't, I'd say so. I want to be, a little bit optimistic here, because why not?
I went last night for Jackie Robinson Day to the UNM Lobo baseball game against CSU Pueblo, Colorado State University Pueblo, and it upset my stomach that I was around the Thunderbirds. It upset. I saw CSU Pueblo's bus, and I said, I don't like the way this feels in my bellers. So.
I can see you having that reaction. For me, I have a more tolerable stomach. Mayonnaise isn't spicy for me first. So, I'm excited for this. Who knows? Maybe they might see me up there. We'll see what's up.
Oh, I'm gonna go June the 1st. Steel City Championship Wrestling in Pueblo. I'm going to go. We can go together.
Let's go.
We can do. We can rent a car though, because whenever that town slashes our tires, it won't be our cars.
We'll make sure we get the daily coverage.
Yeah, we'll get the daily coverage, and then we know it'll be best. We can come back then. Like,
I'm with it. So we got to like haul luggage and then extra tires in the back.
yeah,
Just we know where we're going.
we know what we're doing. So we
Yeah.
rent a car. We take it from Enterprise in Albuquerque to Enterprise in Pueblo. I'm assuming they have an Enterprise. Obviously, I know very little about Pueblo's very poor infrastructure. So we take a rental car up there. Then we park it at the Enterprise up there, and we get a. Do you think they have Uber in Pueblo? What's Didi? We get Didi, the one they have in Mexico. So we download the Didi app, and we catch a. We'll have to figure out the app because it's all in Spanish, but we could just ask anyone in Pueblo. They'll be able to help us. So then we'll get the Didi app, and then we'll go over to the venue. We're not going to get there more than like 5 minutes early. Like we're not showing up early.
And then like, we can get a Cricket burner phone. So
yes, yeah. That's a good move. We can buy one. I think the whole time it's gas stations and dispensaries. So we can buy one at either of those places and then go to the event and immediately leave town, like book it. You know what I mean? Like just we're out of there. That's a good plan.
Like right after we break down the ring and all that stuff, and like, all right, guys, like we're already halfway home.
June the 1st. June the 1st. That's when Steel City Championship Wrestling is doing their thing. All the New Mexico wrestlers will win while up there. Duke City Championship Wrestling will go undefeated. So I'm actually going to bring Duke City Championship Wrestling merch. I'm going to make a table outside of the venue because I'm sure it's going to take them forever to process the line to get people through because like look at the organizers, you know. And then I'm going to just sell out all of our merch to fans that don't get to make it down to Albuquerque, but they watch the YouTube channel religiously. And then we'll have a bunch of new supporters north of the New Mexico border in slummy Colorado.
I could bring my 60-inch screen TV, put it behind us, have it broadcasting all of our podcast episodes behind us during the show. We could bring Tinytron too.
This is a good idea. Everything we're describing. We can get one of those trucks with the big displays on them that they drive around town, like in actual cities that put on displays of businesses. And so we can just put Duke City Championship Wrestling on that. Pueblo won't know. So there you go. Wednesday.
This will be good. Yeah, I'm with it. I support this. You know, like why not? Take a little road trip. Take a little road trip to and fro.
Well, you say road trip, I say slum. So we'll drive. You want to go together? We'll go and we'll do a podcast on the way up there in the car. Like
we could send a TV up there before us, have someone set it up, make sure one of our guys set it up before us, and then live broadcast and just showcase the broadcast as we're coming up.
So smart. And maybe you know what? Maybe we'll go do commentary for them. Like that would help them. Yeah, because upgrade, you know. So we'll go to Steel City Championship Wrestling June the 1st in Pueblo. Follow their social media. Link me the social media in the comments, guys. We'll put it up here. Get ticks, go, and then come back to Duke City Championship Wrestling monthly at the Historic El Rey Theater and see what a really good promotion looks like. Like that's the plan. I like it.
So we're bringing DCCW up unofficially, but officially, and we're just going to broadcast, put up the show, put on the show, book the show, and run the show.
Charlie 50 says that Pueblo has the best green chili he's ever had. You ever take an opinion of an idiot?
That's my fellow silent man, but it's okay. It's, every now and then, it's okay to be wrong. Every now and then,
you just gotta embrace it.
You know what? I gotta try. You know what? I gotta be fair to this. I want to try. Some of their green chili. You
gotta try it. So you know that I'm telling people to go. You know, here's a new plan. We were talking about renting a car. Forget that. We're gonna rent a line of lowriders. Okay, like we're gonna get a caravan of lowriders, and we'll just go all the way up. I think that's the plan. I also don't know if there's like an airport in Pueblo because I would prefer to just touch down and get out of there real fast.
Well, that's the idea. That's the plan. They
Yeah.
at least have a helipad.
Yeah, that would be good.
Yeah.
I'm assuming they don't have a trauma 1 level hospital in Pueblo. It's not like a actual city, so they probably don't. They don't have a helipad. It's not there. There is a university. Like, well,
You borrow the
there's
university.
kind of, yeah, because Colorado State is actually somewhere else, but Colorado State University Pueblo is like a satellite university. All right, so Colorado State University Pueblo is like what Steel City Championship Wrestling is to Duke City. It's like a smaller version, like an easier version. They probably get like a certificate there or something.
Hey man, it's a certificate. If you can read it, I'm with it.
I'm into that. When we get back from the break, well, we're done with our Steel City Championship Wrestling talk. But they got a big event on June the 1st. Get excited for they. We will be up there in attendance. A lot of Duke City Championship Wrestling alum and participants will be up there as well. We will talk about our upcoming show this Wednesday at the historic El Rey Theater. It's Duke City Championship Wrestling Spring Slam. We got a lot of familiar faces, some returning faces, and we're going to be excited to continue some really fun storylines with you, the audience. And then we're not to jump our gun, but we're 1 month away approximately from the 1-year anniversary of Duke City Championship Wrestling. In our May show will be Duke City Championship Wrestling at the historic El Rey Theater. And we're going to have a lot of fun talking about that. You're Sale Taylor. I'm Fred Slow. Whenever we get back from the break, more going over on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal. Welcome back to the program. Welcome back to Going Over. I'm Fred Slow. Sale Taylor joins me on the broadcast this morning. We're having a lot of fun talking the world of pro wrestling. We previewed the GCW show coming to the Dirty Bourbon. That's on Sunday the 21st. We're talking now about the Duke City Championship Wrestling show. That is Wednesday the 24th at the historic El Rey Theater. Pro wrestling alive and well in the Duke City, and we're excited to be able to bring it to you. Sale, you haven't seen the card. I got it in front of me. Are you ready for some announcements?
Come on, baby. Let's talk about it.
We got matches. Fonzie and Jerry Vendetta will take on each other. This one is a lot of fun, right? Jerry Vendetta has had a tumultuous couple weeks, months now, where after he made a really poor decision of disrupting the existence of Homie and Homie's fan base, that he has just been haunted since, I guess, well, he kills Homie, which is already dead because he's a skeleton. Then he disrupts the funeral, and then there's this essence presence, this ghost of Homie that is regularly appearing around Jerry Vendetta. And if he can keep his focus through the night with Fonzie, just knowing that there's this ever-looming presence of Homie at the historic El Rey Theater, I would be impressed. If you're going to start the night off right. And Jerry Vendetta and Fonzie are an absolute banger to make sure people are in their seats. By the way, special early start time, 7 p.m. on Wednesday. We're not trying to keep you out late.
7 p.m. on the first bell. Fonzie LaFleur, the Lulu one, versus Jerry, the damn Vendetta. This man's got one for everyone. And he's got beef with a skeleton. Let me be honest with you. I've been ringside. For some reason, Homie has a presence that can be distracting. It's one of those things, and every now and then when you're walking by, he tries to poke at you. So you know what? Let's be honest. Homie had it coming, and you know I'm rooting for Jerry Vendetta on this one, man, because you know the man's got to focus. The man's got to make bread for his family, and Homie's in the way of that right now.
Love that. Love everything about that. The to me, and I'm not trying to spoil anything for anyone. But come early because we're going to debut our very first trainee. I don't know what other verbiage to use here. So Mosh Pit Mike, who is just as good of a wrestler that you'll ever meet, yourself, Thunder, like some of these guys, they train, regularly, vigorously, and they have been working with a new trainee, and I'm excited for a debut. I don't want to say any names. I don't want to say gimmick names. I don't want to say shoot names. I don't want to be that guy that goes out there. But I'm going to tell you this. You're going to see homegrown talent. An individual that didn't know they wanted to be a pro wrestler and love pro wrestling the way they do until Duke City Championship Wrestling started. So this is an individual who for less than 1 calendar year has been preparing to become a pro wrestler. I would say they're locally very well known, so they're pretty excited about this. So we got a big debut on Wednesday. So make sure you're there early so that you don't miss a single thing and a single debut in Duke City Championship Wrestling, because I think this individual is going to do it for a long time. And after they do it for a long time, I think they're going to you're going to want to have been there when you say you saw them start doing it.
This is going to be really, really fun to see. So yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
This is one of those shows that y'all need to be there from doors,
Mm-hmm.
from doors to first bell, because you don't want to miss what we have in store for you. I'm excited. I am grateful for Mosh Pit Mike and even Happy
Oh yeah,
helping out with working on the next generation. But
pro in the sport.
as we're establishing the first generation, you know, this is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing that y'all are going to see, and y'all should be there. It's gonna be great.
It's a birth moment. You know what I mean? So it's gonna be cool. So you want to be there for it. So we're encouraging you to get there incredibly early for the show. It's the 7:00 start, but you don't want to miss the debut of an individual who's put in a lot of work and is really talented and has been shown how to do it by the absolute best in the business. Spoiler alert, it's absolutely not Gabe from Mayhem High. We're not going to do that to you, audience. There's too much of him already. This is a legitimate athlete. So there you go.
Are we will we be hearing Manhigh on the show?
Oh gosh, I hope not.
All right. Moving on to the card.
Natalia Markova returns to the Duke City. She'll take on Eliza Hayes. Natalia, who was she was victorious in a banger of a 3-way 2 months ago. I think a lot of people have said that's the 2024 match of the year already, the 3-way she had with Adrian Mesca and Lilith Grimm. One-on-one versus Eliza Hayes. Eliza Hayes has been a staple of the women's division here in Duke City Championship Wrestling since its origin. Excited to see Natalia return to town. Also, the fan base didn't take them long to fall in love with her.
Natalia Markov won the world over as soon as she crossed the grill and opened up into the stage, man. Everyone knew that's a star. So Eliza Hayes has a work cut out for her ahead of us. Eliza Hayes has been very consistent with us and helping us establish the women's division for Duke City Championship Wrestling. So we are grateful for her, and I'm excited to see what they showcase, because both of them can fight, both of them can wrestle, both of them can work. So I'm excited to see how this works.
There was rumor in the street that Eliza Hayes was dodging Markova because originally they were slated to take each other on 2 months ago. Hayes, dodges the show, which we thought was the competitor is the reason. She's claimed otherwise. So we ended up with an impromptu women's 3-way, which was tremendous. And Hayes really, I think, feels now like she missed the shine on that. I think Hayes feels like she left herself out in the cold, which is disappointing for her, and she's got a chance here to kind of make up for that. With that said, these two competitors go back to Florida. I don't know if you know that, Saleh. So they have a history. Yeah, they have a history together for some time. So yeah, get ready to see those two go at each other. And if you're the family that's bringing the young daughter, if you're bringing the niece, if you yourself are a fan who's of a young age, they're gonna find their favorite wrestler during this match, and they're gonna be a fan of them forever. So definitely get excited for that one. Be able to be there, and we're excited for it. Moving on, Chuy Martinez takes on Turbo Tony. This is a hair versus career match. This is, I tell you what, this has to be the end of these two, right? They have been for what seems like 6 months now, just tormenting each other. And Chuy Martinez is regularly coming out on top, and Turbo Tony is the little engine that wishes he could. He's just relentless and not stopping. But the rule is whoever loses this match by DQ, submission, count out, pinfall, for whatever, they forfeit their hair or career. They can make the decision. Here's the thing. Seems like Turbo Tony's already made the decision. He has no hair. He's wrestling for the whole thing.
He is putting everything on the line. Turbo Tony putting his career, his future with Duke City Championship Wrestling on this. And I hope he has something up his pant leg or something. Because Chewy has been on top, and Chewy's had his number this whole time so far. Let's see. Let's see what he's got to offer. Let's see what he's got in the tank for him, because this is going to be a very, very, very tough match. And like, this is one of those things where, like, before we start the show, and I get on the cans and I start my job, I might have to say goodbye to Turbo Tony before I leave backstage and come to the front.
Well, and Turbo Tony does have to go. He's had in one short year a whole career in Duke City Championship Wrestling. He came out and he was absolutely jeered by the audience for some time, due to circumstance. I don't think due to choice. He was kind of forced by Thunder during that ladder match in October for the Duke City Championship Wrestling inaugural title to kind of sway his approach to the world of pro wrestling. And he's received a world of cheers since then. And I think maybe there's a jealousy aspect. I think maybe there's a motivation for Chuy Martinez to be in his face and be in his presence and regularly give out discipline to heat. Because like I said, it feels like younger brother kind of jealousy type of thing on why he's not receiving that notoriety and support from the audience. But these two dudes have been battling, and if it comes to the end for Turbo Tony, that is a story well told for him. And for Chuy Martinez, it'll be another notch on the belt that he is so famously used against Turbo Tony, and another victory for he in Duke City Championship Wrestling.
So here's a crazy thing, man. Like, the way I see it, when you look at the sheet at the end of the night, a win is a win, and that's what we look at.
Yeah.
And so far, Chewy has had that over Turbo Tony this whole time.
Yeah.
So let's see how this plays out. This is going to be a tall challenge for Turbo Tony, and just another day at the park for Chuy Martinez.
The tag team of Mr. Happy and Enrique Delgado will continue. But I tell you what, these two have just found a chemistry with each other. They're going to take on, as Valak Vile is just shuffled through tag team partners. Right? He can't find a rhythm with anyone. And he now is going to take the winless Devin Reno to his side to take on Mr. Happy and Enrique Delgado this upcoming Wednesday night. A partner after partner after partner for Valak Vile. I mean, I think similar to the way like a terrible girlfriend in high school is, like, it's not always everyone else, Valak.
Well, it's just one of those things where a magician needs just the right kind of a assistant to help put on the perfect show.
That's what it is.
And that's what it is, man. Like Valak Vile, he's just looking for that second, that perfect one to pair with, that he could just make sure that, all right, I'm going to make all of the
on the live chat. For those listening terrestrially here in town on the morning of April the 20th, also 420, blaze it up.
Yeah, dude.
So we record the show earlier in the week, and we do it via our social media outlets, Duke City Championship Wrestling. You can find that on Facebook. You can find that on YouTube, also going over on all the social media outlets. But with that said, Duke City Warriors, who's a big fan of the world of pro wrestling, says Valak makes all of his partners disappear. It's pretty good.
Well, I could see that happening because, he's got to find the right pairing. So Valak Vile is going through all he can to make sure that, he's also working uphill, because you got the Clown Cats, who are just really helping establish our tag team division, and they have more experience together. They have more chemistry together. They know how to work. Even though they're a bit yin and yang sometimes, there's still good balance in that. And through this, they offer beautiful insight on like what they can do and cover for each other. So Valak Vile has a long night ahead of himself, but Devin Reno is a consummate professional. He is an amazing worker. This man knows how to do the job. So this will be a great thing. I don't know, like, what we can call this iteration of Valak Vile and Devin Reno.
Reno, a very famous city in Nevada, it's known for its entertainment, and it's also a little bit the slumming of Las Vegas. And I think Valak Vile is very much the slumming of the world of David Copperfield and magicians. So I think we just call this Slum City. This is
Slum City.
Yeah, they're not the business. Devin Reno, what he's best at as a professional is sending one-word email responses whenever we're trying to get him on shows. That's what I know about Devin Reno.
Okay.
Yeah. Bet. Oh, bet. Okay. The live stream is asking kind of a prudent question, which I guess we haven't really hit on publicly, but we'll do it right now. First of all, Dominus Muske says he didn't know that Saturday was a holiday, so that's very funny. But the question is, why not the weekend? Well, I'll tell you why not the weekend in April. So we're going with our very first Wednesday show because, and I don't know if this is primarily me. I guess it is. I don't think we super reached out to others for opinion on this, but the Savannah Bananas are in town this weekend. You know, there's always, last weekend was Jackie Robinson weekend at Isotopes Park, which is a big deal to me, you know, in the world of professional sports that I live in. Next weekend, there's just too much world going on. So we thought we don't want to make people choose. So we don't want to make people choose between really important family outings. And also, I'm a big baseball guy, so, you know, that's a big part of it. But the Savannah Bananas will put 15,000 people 2 nights in a row over at Isotopes Park. I love that we draw 500 people for Duke State Championship Wrestling. I'm not going to make any of those 500 people have to decide on what they would or would not want to do. UFC 300 was Saturday. You know, we're not trying to book like Duke State Championship Wrestling against an event that people are really jazzed for. You know, to me, it wasn't the best UFC card of all time, but there's a fan base out there that loves like a Justin Gaethje. There's a fan base out there. And at the time when we're setting up the schedule, we thought O'Malley was going to be on the card, but he ended up being on 299. You know, that's why we make the Wednesday and the Thursday efforts, because we want to make sure that you, fan of Duke City Championship Wrestling, has an opportunity to live all those other events and all that other part of life that you're so very excited about.
Well, another thing that what it is that I see being done with Duke City Championship Wrestling happening at the beautiful historic El Rey Theater is we're helping like adding another sense of culture of a nightlife here in town, man. We've been needing this. Like we're the best way to describe Albuquerque to someone else who's listening, not from Albuquerque. We are a big town, small city, and we're in this weird transition where we're getting out of a small town mentality, and a lot of times the weekend is just booked. But if we can help promote a sense of like we do have a nightlife, we do have times where people can have an option to go to something on a Thursday, on a Wednesday, and like still have some fun, and then still have room for a weekend to do what it is y'all really want to do. So we're helping enhance the culture for the culture of Albuquerque in general. I would love to see more options eventually on Thursdays, on Wednesdays for everyone. You know, we're a college town, and so things slow down or pick up accordingly.
So, well, and you know, and the last thought of that before we, you know, braze away from it is this isn't the 1950s anymore. You know, this is not a 9 to 5 Monday through Friday world we live in, and I think a lot of people believe that in principle, but whenever it comes down to practice, it's simply not that. You know, this is if we afford people opportunity on a weeknight, and if we start that thing a little earlier, we're talking about starting at 7 o'clock. We'll be wrapped up by 9:30, 9:45. You know, you'll be home at a very reasonable time. The idea is you get the opportunity to really pack out, you know, your level of fun. You know, and I think people do that. Also, there's no such thing as must see TV anymore. You know, there's no such thing as reasons you want to stay in and catch Cheers or Frasier or whatever thing you were obsessed with as a kid. I'm so old. That's not the hotness. Well, The Office or Parks and Rec or whatever. Like those. Oh, you got it on mute, Sully. But those things that aren't there, you know, those things that used to exist, that used to keep people in, they don't exist anymore. So come downtown, hang out with your friends, check out Duke City Championship Wrestling on a Wednesday, and continue with us whenever we get back from the break, because we finish previewing the Duke City Championship Wrestling card for this upcoming Wednesday. It's Spring Slam at the historic El Rey Theater. This is going over on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal. Welcome back to the program. Welcome back to Going Over. I'm Fred Slow. Sully Taylor, you're here with me, Sully. Sully, welcome back.
Hello, I'm here. I'm off mute, and I'm grooving. It's a good day.
We jumped into the first half of the Duke City Championship Wrestling card in our previous segment. Thank you for those that hung out with us and listened to our jokes on that. We're about to preview the second half of the card. Sully, you were going to say?
I was going to say, man, like I heard Frasier and I popped for that. Man, I am old too. I love it.
I don't know enough about Frazier, but I know that it was enjoyed by people that I don't associate with. So there you go. Plex versus Chris Watson versus Tommy Test. We're going three-way, boys. This is a big one. Plex is coming down from Colorado, the Max Plus. He's not good at wrestling. He's not good at entertaining. He's not even good at making it on time to the production meeting, but he's going to bring his entire flea market with him down to the event. So Plex, Chris Watson coming up from the El Paso area. They're going to meet in the middle against hometown hero Tommy Test. And I tell you what, after Tommy's opportunity at the championship impromptu opportunity last month, the way his fan base responded to that, look as if he's going to be as thirsty and as vindictive and as revengeful as humanly possible against two people that aren't Thunder. But I would encourage Plex and Chris Watson to watch out.
This is going to be one of those matches where I kind of feel bad for whoever's in the ring with someone, someone. And Two Scoops is the one where I'm like, okay, he's got to let some gripe out, and it looks like unfortunately Chris Watson and the livest Max Plex is going to be in front of them, but you can't take them out either, man. Like the livest Max Plex always got something up his sleeve, man. He's got some, he got some blinding moves ready to go, and then Chris Watson can go from coast to coast at any time. Like this is going to be a great match. Those three are going to put on a great match, and but I just kind of feel for whoever's going to be sharing the ring with Two Scoops, or with Tommy Two Scoops, because man, he's got to let out some steam.
I know these three competitors, I would say very well, and I would say of the performers in Duke City Championship Wrestling, these are the guys that maybe I've had the most correspondence with outside of game day, outside of show day. I know that as far as the triple threat goes, there's a world of excitement. It's really hard to broadcast too, if we're going to be honest. There's so much action, and a little inside broadcasting, a little inside pro wrestling. You broadcast to the screen, right? So you can obviously see the venue, you can see what's going on, but you're trying to describe what you're seeing that the audience is seeing at home. And we had so much success with that banger of a three-way between the women 2 months ago. And I know these three cats are going to try to dethrone that from match of the year, which I currently think it's sitting at. So look for these dudes to elevate their performance in the ring. And I think you and I are going to have to elevate our performance on the broadcast, because this one has a possibility to, like I said, not just steal the night, but steal the first quarter of the year.
This is going to be a beautiful thing to watch, but it is. It's a bit disorienting because we have to focus on the monitor in hand. We're being your ears and eyes to what's being shown, and sometimes something's happening that I want to call that, but like the general rule is if we didn't show it to you on camera, it didn't happen.
Yeah,
So it's a tall order, but it's going to be a great match. It's going to be very physical. I know that much. And will there be DQ, or is this a no DQ triple threat?
Well, match? The traditional three-way rules, there is not going to be a disqualification. So it's going to be pinfall or submission, which is going to put this one over. Yeah, so look for these three cats to really just whoop up on each other. And whoever comes victorious out of this, I wouldn't be surprised if they're asking for opportunity at Thunder. I'm not surprised if they're asking for an opportunity at his opponent, if his opponent is victorious this Wednesday at Spring Slam, Mosh Pit Mike, and that's our next match of the night. The champion of Duke City Championship Wrestling takes on Mosh Pit Mike. This is a rematch of 2 months ago where these two individuals went at each other. It looked as if Mosh Pit Mike was the clear winner. It looked as if Mosh Pit Mike had become the first ever victorious challenger for the Duke City Championship Wrestling belt. It looked as if Mosh Pit Mike was going to put that thing over his shoulder. He was going to put the company over his other shoulder, and he was going to carry Duke City Championship Wrestling forward, but he did not. He was not victorious, overturned by the officials, incredibly controversial at the time. The crowd reacted in such a way as well. And Thunder walked out again due to shenanigans of Victor. And Mosh Pit Mike has a chance here to right a wrong, in his opinion.
Well, first of all, I don't know what you're talking about shenanigans. That was a clean match. First off, we had a referee that was still able, he was still present. So Don Cisco was still the official referee for the match. Kyle had
Mhm.
no reason being in the ring, and also Kyle showing why he had no reason being in the ring. He couldn't see both shoulders were not on the ground. So that's what happens when you have a so-called lead official who try to be a lead official and not have all the information. We're going to have a chat. With
Yeah.
big old Kyle about that, because man, that got too close, but at the same time, man, it was the right call at the end of the night, and I'm so happy that the champ got to hear the crowd go crazy during the match, because he deserved that reception, because the champ is still the champion.
Well, and we obviously Mosh Pit Mike gets the 505 chance. We're talking a lot about the fans in attendance. They want the win for Mosh Pit Mike. They're gonna, like, I believe, steadily and wholeheartedly be behind him. I think they're real tired of Thunder. I think they're real tired of Matthew Robles, and I think they're real tired of you, if I'm being honest. And
I don't know
I
what you're
don't
talking about there, man.
I don't think I understand what clicks in your head to go from like contributor to the broadcast, like tremendous behind the scenes, like supporter of the locker room, and then all of a sudden it's like when Adam Merrick comes out and you hear one fall, that you just snap into another personality and decide to ruin the lives of people who work really hard at being really good at this, whenever you are neither of those things.
Well, first off, Commissioner Matthew Robles is he's coming in from a federal position, so
Okay.
like you got to give that man some respect. And the man is a move maker. The man's been on CNN, for God's sakes. I can't even spell that, and he's done well. He's doing well. He's continued to do well, and Matthew Robles is making some good calls for the sake of sports entertainment in the future, in the present, for the past, and in the future. This man knows what he's doing. He has great plans, and I believe in the vision he has, and I believe in our champ, Le Campion Thunder, because that man is a fighting champ. That man shows up to work. The man shows why he's the lead, and I just support good people that just can do the job well, and that's just my point of view. And yeah, it is a bit of a switch when I hear, but that's just me trying to make sure that we have the right people in the right position. And I'm grateful to take a little part and make sure that no tomfoolery is happening, because I just want to have a good show, a proper show is all.
You are terrible. If Natalia Markova is returning to Duke City Championship Wrestling, I don't even think she's physically capable of traveling across the country without Brian Idol. Brian Idol returns to Duke City Championship Wrestling, and he will take on Hobo Hank in a rematch that I think everyone wants. This is NWA's very own Brian Idol. We haven't said NWA's name one time during this broadcast today. Markova and Idol. That NWA partnership, their affiliation. If the NWA performers are coming out here to Duke City Championship Wrestling, it's not just to beat up Duke City Championship wrestlers. It's to really pick apart the organization. It's to pick apart the process. And it's to see if fandom can translate from here to across the country. And Brian Idol is a guy whose face looks like it wants to get kicked in. Brian Idol is a guy who thinks he's better than Hobo Hank for all the wrong reasons. Brian Idol is a guy who was brought in by Matthew Robles originally as one of those hired guns against Hobo Hank. And I know Matthew Robles is not bringing back Brian Idol this time. He's coming back on his own accord, because he took that whooping from Hobo Hank last time. And it's going to be Brian Idol's opportunity to avenge what he considers an embarrassing loss. And it's going to be Hobo Hank's opportunity to state to everyone watching around, not just the country, but the world, that he is a guy who can go over on NWA talent. I am excited for this rematch, as excited as I've ever been for one.
I'll be the first to admit when when a mistake has been made.
Yeah.
And let's be real. I've yet to see a mistake. So let's see how this match comes out. And last time, Brian Idol and Hobo Hank, some things happened in there that
You're in love with Brian Idol. Just say it out loud.
That is a beautiful man. That is what a man looks like. That's what a real man feels like.
Mm-hmm.
Man. And when he hugged me, I was like, this is I'm built like a padded wall, but he's built like a concrete. Oh man.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he almost had to push me away a couple times, but hey, I just appreciate beauty in all its forms.
Super weird.
There's nothing weird about that. And the man appreciating good men, But Brian Idol's gonna come through.
Appreciating good men.
Yeah, man.
Weird.
I appreciate good stuff. I can admit when I've made a mistake. So we'll find out the next mistake that's been made. I'm excited to see this because more importantly, we are continuing to build on this beautiful relationship with NWA, and this is a beautiful thing, man. It's a great thing, and I'm grateful for Commissioner Matthew Robles to help make this happen and help allow this to happen. So we
The
appreciate you.
the one that's the one to me is this one, and that one is Brian Idol, without the support of you and Matthew Robles, does not stand a tumbleweed's chance in the desert against Hobo Hank here in Albuquerque. There's no way. Hobo Hank, I think, as easy as it could go, it will go for Brian Idol, not the competitor that he makes himself out to be here in the Southwest. I don't know if it's the elevation. I don't know if it's the thin air, but I know his big head has a hard time breathing during it. And Hobo Hank, who is the reasons he's ever taken a loss in Duke City Championship Wrestling, not his own, will put the audience on his back. We'll put the El Rey on his back. We'll put the entire city on his back. And he can carry all that weight and still be victorious over Brian Idol. Idol and Markova could leave town winless. It's not going to be a good day for the NWA here in Duke City Championship Wrestling.
The reason why they get to do what they do everywhere they get to go is because
all over the world.
They're one of the best. They got both sides covered. Natalia Markova, who runs any women's division she's in.
Yeah.
Brian Idol, who runs any men's locker room he was in. They are amazing at what they do. So with them coming back, I'm so excited to see how Brian Idol can show why he's one of the best. Even if you haven't heard of them, that doesn't mean they haven't been heard of, and that doesn't mean they ain't working.
Yeah.
Because they're doing a thing. They've been heard of. They get calls. They get called. So
yeah. They're title holding. They're country traveling. They're NWA associated. They're individuals who make this industry go around, and how fortunate Duke City Championship Wrestling is to beat them up. So it's going to go really well on Wednesday. That's Spring Slam 424. You can get it at the historic El Rey Theater, dccwtickets.com. Keep in mind, I am in the ownership group of Duke City Championship Wrestling. If you, friend of the show, are interested in coming out and supporting us, that does slide money into Daddy's pockets. Like that goes straight to me. But I assure you, we reinvest it right away into the product. We're at our 1 year calendar mark after this event, and all the announcements, all the excitement around our birthday bash is going to be about as fun as anything you've ever done in person. So we're excited to have people out in May as well. Come in April if you want to make sure you understand what's going on in May, and then come every month for the rest of your life, because that's how we plan to do this thing. Saleh, we got to wrap it up. Final words, brother?
I love every single person that loves me. So I appreciate every single one of y'all that do that. But more importantly, everyone that comes out and shows out for DCCW stuff.
Yeah.
We appreciate you. GCW coming at the Dirty River this Sunday, the 21st. The Spring Slammo happening at the beautiful historic El Rey next Wednesday. New first bell time at 7 p.m.
7 p.m. Good call.
And then also coming up my first hometown in New Mexico. We're going to Las Cruces at the Live Amador Live for Cinco de Slammo. So
That'd we got May
the 5th. For all the gringos out there. Yes, May the 5th. We'll be there, and unfortunately, I'll be out of town this weekend. But I'm grateful to each and every one of you.
Yeah.
So
for Saleh Taylor, for myself, Fred Slow, we'll see you Wednesday at the historic El Rey Theater. Good job, everyone. GG.